Good evening, brothers and sisters. I wanted to be honest and vulnerable with you guys, with every single one of you who follows me, who comments on my videos, who is active on my account, and whether you send me messages privately or comment on my videos. I wanted to be transparent with you guys and honest and just 100% sincere and humble and just vulnerable to something that is a weakness of mine. It's a flaw of mine. It's something that I've struggled with for many years, partly due to my schizophrenia, but I wanted us to talk about it. And that is cigarettes. Tobacco has always been something that has been a poison of mine for years. I remember my biological father giving me a cigarette as a child when I was about maybe 8 or 9 years old. It was before he passed away. He passed away when I was about 9 years old, 9.5. So he gave me my first cigarette when I was on a truck trip with him because he was a long-haul trucker, a semi-truck driver. And he gave me my first cigarette when I was with him. He would take me on his trips from Minnesota to Georgia. And so that's when I had my first cigarette. At first, when I was a kid, I thought they were nasty. They smelled terrible. They tasted terrible. And I just hated them. So it took me a while to actually start smoking, which was high school when I was about 16, 17. There was a gas station by my high school in St. Paul, Minnesota. There was a gas station right across the street that they didn't check IDs. They didn't care about my ID, and they let me buy cigarettes. And so that's when I started smoking. And at that age, that's when I really got addicted to cigarettes. But one of the reasons why I started smoking also was because at that time, that is when my schizophrenia first manifested itself, first showed itself per se in my life, to where I started hearing voices, I started seeing things, I got paranoid a little bit, I started having delusional thinking, some disorganized thinking, I started just having very erratic behavior, out of the norm behavior, and I was all over the place mentally. And so that in high school, about junior year is when I started just having a really tough time as a teenager, to the point that I tried to unalive myself. I tried to kill myself at least twice in high school, to where I ended up in the hospital about a week and a half, 2 weeks each time I tried or each time I attempted. And so I missed school for quite a while because of my mental health when I was in high school. Me smoking, my tobacco use continued all the way into college, to where as my schizophrenia got worse, more severe, my smoking got intensified to where I was smoking more packs per week. And it was something that I did because it helped my symptoms. It alleviated them a little bit, to where when I smoke a cigarette, I'm able to think a little bit more clearly. I'm able to hear myself. I'm able to hear my own thoughts when I smoke a cigarette. And so a lot of the reason why I smoke is because it's one of the few things that helps me be able to concentrate and to be able to focus on what is real, what isn't. Is this person I'm talking to not real? Is it a hallucination, or is it a real person? It happened to me yesterday at Starbucks, to where I was talking to this person for like 30 minutes at my table in Starbucks, and it got to the point that things were off. I could tell they were off because the person I was talking to was making facial expressions that just weirded me out a little bit, creeped me out. And so after 30 minutes, I took my phone and I actually got this coping skill from someone I follow on YouTube. He's called the Schizophrenic what is his name? The Schizophrenic Hippie is his YouTube channel kind of title. And I got this from him, to where he would use his phone camera and point it at the hallucination of the person he's talking to, and whether the person showed up, they're real. If they don't, it's a hallucination in the camera. And so I did that. And yesterday at Starbucks, I put the camera up, and the person wasn't in the view of the camera. And so I was like, holy crap, for 30 minutes I've been talking to this person, and they aren't real. And that happened to me. And oftentimes it happens to me when I have my 2 hallucinations, which are the worst. Their names are Skylar and Cheyenne. They are 2 hallucinations that have been with me the longest, to where when they show up, I know shit's about to hit the fan. When Skylar and Cheyenne show up, I know that's oftentimes when I'm about to have a psychotic episode, or when I'm going to have a psychotic episode. When they show up, that's when I know Skylar and Cheyenne, they're here. Okay, psychosis is right around the corner. It's probably happening by the end of tonight. It's happening real soon. I need to beware. And also, whenever Skylar and Cheyenne show up, that's also when I start smoking more. When I start smoking, I would say at least 3 or 4 packs a week, to where at one point I remember it was almost a pack a day. And sorry guys, there's someone on a motorcycle. And so it's just, that's my journey of cigarettes, to where it started when I was a kid, went through high school, went to college, and now I still smoke, as you see. A lot of times when my symptoms show themselves with my schizophrenia, especially the hallucinations, most of you don't know what it's like, and that's fine. But for those who understand, who have schizophrenia, for those who have a psychotic disorder, you know, hearing voices 24/7, it's one of the most annoying, obnoxious things you could ever happen to you, to where you're never alone. You're always constantly being bombarded by people, by voices, by things, by monsters, by demons, by spirits, whatever you want to call them. You never have a second alone. And so as you're hearing these voices, you need to find an outlet. And for many people who have schizophrenia, tobacco, cigarettes is an outlet. Now, I'm not going to go into the research, the medical part of it, because you can do that on your own. They've done medical studies, and they've done brain scans, and done different procedures and tests, and found that the tobacco, the nicotine chemical, actually does things for a schizophrenic's brain, to where it alleviates certain symptoms and gives them a little bit of a breather, a break. So there's been studies on tobacco with schizophrenics that you can look into. And so I'm not going to really debate those. But I wanted to make this video because it's me being vulnerable. Cigarettes, tobacco is something that I'm always going to do. I'm never going to stop smoking cigarettes, because it's one of the few things that actually help me live. And I know that it's a sin. I'm desecrating my body, my temple that God gave me. I know it's something that I shouldn't be doing. And it's something that I'm working on, but I don't think I'm ever going to quit, because it's just something that mentally, it helps me make these videos. It helps me not die. It helps me not kill myself. But if you can understand, you can understand. If you can't, you can't. I just wanted to be honest with you about something that I struggle with, that I do on a daily basis, that most Christians would say you shouldn't, you should stop. So be vulnerable, guys. Don't be afraid to be honest about the things you're dealing with. I love you guys. Peace out.